Hi, I'm Stephanie McLean, and I'm here with another episode bringing you the best cutting-edge businesses all across the country. And I'm here today with Lauren Reskin, the owner of Sweat Records. Hi, Lauren. How's it going?
Good. Hi, Stephanie.
Lauren is tearing up the Miami music scene. She has her own record shop here, and it's called Sweat Records. Lauren, tell us a little bit more about Sweat Records and how you got started.
Sure. Sweat Records was founded in 2005 by myself and my best friend Sarah, and we basically just looked around and saw that Miami didn't have a typical classic kind of indie record store, and I'd been working in retail and at nightclubs and knew that there were enough people around to sustain a store that sold really good kind of off the mainstream music, and Sarah was really into entrepreneurship, and so we got together and opened up the shop. And we've been at it ever since.
So did you just do kind of a gut feeling based on what you were seeing from the market, or did you do like big market research? And
I mean, it was more day-to-day research. I'd spent 6 years working at another record store, at a big corporate store, and from that, I met people, and from all my nightlife activities, I just knew that Miami as a metropolitan city, even though it was so geographically spread out, had lots of people who would come to a destination location like ours for a very specific thing that you could only find here.
Okay. So how did you go about it? So you guys had a great idea. How did you transition from idea to execution to actually starting to be like, we're going to do this seriously?
Well, we basically just made lots and lots of to-do lists, and we would just cross them off. And she was in law school at the time, and I was still working, so we'd meet a couple times a week and go over our lists and delegate and see who was working on what. And a few months later, I mean, we were already well on our way, and the hardest part was really just finding the perfect location.
How did you go about finding this location, and why did you decide on doing it here?
Well, this isn't our first location. Our first location is about 3 miles south of where we are right now, and we hired realtors, and they found us this great space that we instantly knew was the right one. And unfortunately, about 8 months after we opened, Hurricane Wilma came along and destroyed the building. It was one of the most heavily damaged in Dade County. So we left there, we had a temporary space for a while, and then we've been in this space we're in now for just over 5 years.
Nice, okay. So a natural disaster brought you here.
An actual disaster, but it's a good synergy.
Well.
Yeah, we're next door to Churchill's Pub, which is from since 1979 has been like one of the main live music venues in Miami. They do punk, they do jazz, and everything in between, and it makes sense that we're next door to each other now.
This is an up-and-coming neighborhood in Miami. What has that experience been like? Have you had to do a lot of promotion to get traffic here, or is it well-trafficked?
Well, we do promotion because anywhere we'd be, we would need to be drawing people in for the very specific stuff we're doing. So that's always kind of been on the radar. Neighborhood-wise, things are improving. We just had to endure 17 months of construction on the street outside.
Nice.
So that was a really big experience, not a positive one at all, and involved a lot of angry letters and keeping on top of city people to make sure they were doing what they were supposed to. So I hope to never have that happen again, nor would I wish that on anyone. But all in all, it's a cool neighborhood. They're doing lots of improvements. There's people that believe in it, and some cool assets in the neighborhood. There's a really great place called the Little Haiti Cultural Center right around the corner, and they have a theater and a courtyard and an art space and classrooms, and it's a great spot, and we're like 3 blocks away from them.
Oh, that's great. So what was the process like of getting the capital to get started?
Well, one of the things we did is we wrote promissory notes to our friends and family, and basically said, please believe in our project.
We're
going to work our butts off. If you give us money, we'll give you your money back and then some, within a year or two. So that was a big way we raised capital, and then a bunch of the rest was just personal savings and stuff like that.
So you didn't do the raising outside of friends and family? You didn't bother with the trying to raise money outside?
Not for what we were doing. I mean, I was 22 when the store opened, so relatively inexperienced at running my own business, but tons of experience in the industry. So, we basically scrapped together what we needed and got it done.
How has that been starting out as a businesswoman at 22?
It's been fine. Obviously, it's a learning experience, but all in all, no complaints.
Great. Yeah, because you're doing very well.
We're trying. We hustle. We work our butts off here. So,
Have you thought about expanding outside of Miami?
No, our business is
I'm
very
a Miami girl.
our business is really Miami centric, and
Okay.
other stores have their, indie stores are a community space also. So we're not just going to barge into someone else's community and start something. So
Right.
other places have, their own stores that are building around their own communities. So it kind of makes sense for us to just do what we're doing here,
Here,
and just
right.
do other related activities.
And I know you got a Knight Foundation grant.
We've gotten 2.
You've gotten 2 Knight grants.
Yes.
How was that process?
Well, the Night Arts Challenge, which is a ongoing program in Miami, is an amazing grant in that it's open to everyone, for-profit, not-for-profit, individual, organization, and you basically, if you have a good idea and you have some momentum behind it, they might fund your idea. And we'd
Okay.
already been doing Sweat for 3 years the first time we applied, and we went through the process and we got it. So the first grant, we just about finished it up. We did a bunch of great projects. We launched some really cool resources for the local community and global community. We built a piece of software called the Eventomatic, which is a
Okay.
WordPress plugin that other people with WordPress sites can use to admin their own online events calendar.
Ah,
And it's
okay.
been downloaded over 8,000 times worldwide.
Nice. So did you and your partner do that, or you guys hired outside
well,
technical help?
my original partner, Sarah, she bowed out years ago to
Okay.
concentrate on her law career.
Okay.
So now Jason and Emily, who are sitting over there, are
Okay.
the 2 main other pieces of Sweat.
Okay.
So, but the software thing, we hired an outside specific web developer.
Okay.
We had the idea and we made them build it because I don't
Okay.
speak web. So,
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, oh, you are so amazing. You can do the technical
not that much of
and
it,
all
yeah.
that. Okay,
So-
great. Okay. So in terms of transitioning from your partner to being on your own, what was that process?
I mean, it was a little rough actually
Initially,
in between,
okay.
yeah, because we each had our certain tasks that we took care of, and once she
Right.
was gone, I kind of had to grab all of her tasks. So
Right.
it was a learning experience. I definitely made some mistakes, but and it took a while to kind of get it sorted again. But thankfully then Jason came on board, and then thankfully after that Emily came on
Right,
board,
okay.
and everything's running better than it ever has.
What advice do you have for an amicable partnership breakup? Because I know sometimes these things don't always end nicely.
I mean, mine was the most amicable you could have gotten. I'm blessed, so I can't complain about anything that happened in my situation. But let it go. Like,
Right.
I don't know. If it's equally important to both people, you'll make it work. If it's not, I don't know.
Right. You just have
Thankfully,
to
I've never had to be in that situation.
Nice. And then what advice do you have for picking a business partner?
I mean, in a perfect world, you'd be able to work with your friends all the time, and it would always be great. In my experience, I've been able to make that happen because I feel like I don't stay friends with people who don't have my best interests in heart and
That's a
who
good
I feel the
philosophy.
same way about. So, I'm still best friends with Sarah, and it's always more enjoyable to work with your friends. And if that's not an option, find people who you have basic common ground and respect with each other.
I know the record industry has gone digital and iTunes, a lot of record stores closed. Virgin had a lot of problems. How do you manage to stay competitive with vinyl records?
Well, there's a great movement called Record Store Day that now happens every year on the 3rd Saturday in April. And through that, there's been a lot of great promotion and appreciation of the role of the record store. So there's that whole aspect of it. And, one of the great quotes on that page is, independent record stores are all we had in the beginning, and they're all we have left. And it makes sense, and it's true. Like, Tower's gone, Virgin's gone,
Yeah.
and those are big box stores, and even though they did have an amazing breadth of selection, they didn't have the personalized customer service the way that a store like ours can have.
Right.
So, a lot of indie record stores are doing great. Vinyl sales have gone up 5-6 years in a row now. A lot of labels got wise. I mean, to me, every record should come with the MP3s, and most of them now do.
Okay.
So you buy the record, you get a download code, you get the tracks for free, so
Okay.
it's best of both worlds.
So who is your primary client base? mostly DJs?
Music lovers,
or?
it's not DJs at all, and that's one of the
Got
biggest
you.
misconceptions
Do
about
they
what
still
we
use
do.
vinyl to spin as DJs
Not really.
now?
They
Most
use
of the time they use their
Serato
computers,
records.
right?
Yeah.
Got you.
It's and I wish I saw more DJs in here just for the pure musical exploration aspect. But I think a lot of them are just at home glued to their computers, and I DJ, but I know I'd be in here anyway because I'm just a record nerd.
How did you approach your marketing strategy? Like, did you partner with an outside marketing PR company, or did you just do everything?
No, we've done everything in-house since day one. My background is as a club and show promoter, so
Right.
I always knew how to reach my audience. And we've always been tech savvy, social network savvy. We were, killing it on MySpace before we jumped the ship, as almost everyone has. And, we do things to engage our fans. We do a lot of giveaways. We do, a lot of our business is event driven. We have in-store events all the time. And we listen to what they have to say and,
Okay.
aren't afraid to change when something isn't working.
What recommendations would you have for other young business owners in terms of using social media as an advertising tool on a small budget?
You don't really have to spend anything, Just make your content worth looking at and don't bombard people with a bunch of crap.
To make it relevant?
Yeah, relevant and quality over quantity.
Got you. Okay.
We definitely are measured in how much we use our social network so that we're not in people's face all the time, because it's real easy to get sick of the people who do that.
I think every entrepreneur has had some major bumps along the road. How have you managed to stay motivated when things haven't gone as you would have liked?
Well, the main motivation is really from everyone who's around in the scene down here. It's a great community. It's super interesting and varied and spread out, and there's all sorts of music and all sorts of people and tons of visual artists and people from all walks of life who are really into music, and it's always been about wanting to provide for them what Sweat is. I just feel like there'd be a big void in the scene if we weren't here,
Okay.
and it would be really sad for a lot of people. And I know I grew up here and I didn't really have a store like this. After about junior high or high school, a lot of them had closed or gone away, so I'm glad that we're able to be here, be an all ages event space, and provide something.
I know you host events. What is that process like? Do you work with promoters, or is it all?
Well,
Sweat.
for in-store, Jason's our event manager, and we
Okay.
have events at sweatrecordsmiami.com where anyone is welcome to email us and pitch what they want to do in the store.
Okay.
And he basically works with them to develop what the show is going to be. And, we make sure a flyer gets done and an event page, and then it gets promoted, and that everything runs smoothly the night of. Our most recent night grant is actually to redo our entire event space and amp everything up and properly document
Okay.
and do a lot of development there, which is awesome. So yeah, we're basically a community event space and people can just find out. And then for outside events, I kind of take the lead on that. We do actually book bands and host shows at other
Okay.
venues around town. So this Friday we're actually doing a night-related project. We've been pressing some local 7-inch records
Okay.
because we want more local bands to have vinyl. And so there's a great local band called Crisp, who are kind of a dance rock band, and we're putting
Nice.
out their 7-inch, and the party is next door at Churchill's on Friday night.
Oh, nice.
So-
So what recommendations? I know a lot of small businesses and business owners generally are interested in applying for grants. What recommendations do you have for people who are doing that?
Well, definitely not to be afraid of applying, because the worst thing that could happen is you don't get it, and the best thing that can
That's
happen is
true.
you do.
That's true.
Be active and search out as many as you can find out about. We pay attention to city and county newsletters and things like that to find out about
Okay.
things. We go to meetings, we dig, but, stay organized, keep good track of everything you're doing, make sure you have, documentation of the work that you have done, so that when someone
Right.
says, why should I give you money, you can say, well, we've done X, Y, Z and
Right.
beyond. So
So do you recommend using a grant writer, or you just did it? You seem like
I
you're
mean,
I'm a
it-
do it myself type
yeah,
of girl.
DIY kind of goes hand in hand with record stores. So yeah, I have done it all myself despite having no formal training in grant writing.
Okay.
Knight Foundation grants are relatively paperwork streamlined,
Intensive,
but the
okay.
city grant we did wasn't, and it was mission, but we did it and we got it. So,
Okay.
it's just a matter of putting the work in, and, there's a lot of businesses who are afraid to try, and we've heard of, there's been situations of grants we've gotten where there weren't even that many applicants because people were too intimidated
Right.
you know, a
Okay,
packet
so-
of material this big, when really it's just like a workbook you do at school. You just make sure you go through and check the pages.
Right. I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people are put off because sometimes the grants are so extensive.
Yeah, they
For all the
can be
information.
intimidating for sure.
So, I mean, in closing, where do you see Sweat Records 5 years from now?
Well, hopefully we'll have our location even more, you know, stable and built out to our specifications. We have some
Okay.
other projects in the works we can't really like talk about
about it.
right now.
Okay, they're top secret.
We
Okay.
hope to keep putting out vinyl. We hope to keep helping local bands. We have our web store, and we'd like to build that a little more. It's our one of the other night projects is an online site for only local merchandise.
Okay.
So it's sweatshopmiami.com.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's we sell the local stuff here, and you can also purchase it online. So it's cool. We sell all the posters that are hanging up and
Okay.
local coffee roaster beans and all kinds of
Nice.
cool stuff. So we're working on, you know, making that even better and basically improving everything we have, staying on the track we're on. And then, yeah, we're really excited for the next night grant kind of project base where we're going to be documenting our in-stores and posting clips online and things like that.
Nice. And I mean, you've done tremendously well as a businesswoman. Where do you see brand Lauren being 5 years from now?
I haven't been thinking that far ahead.
Okay.
I like what's happening now, and we kind of have always been following a course that feels natural and not forced or anything. So we'll see. I mean, you know, we have a huge variety of things we work on, and whatever seems to feel right at the moment is what we pursue and put our energy into.
Okay.
So 5 years from now, we'll kind of tell its own course.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time
Sure.
for meeting with us today. And I'm Stephanie McLean. See you next time.
Thanks.